Now, the mistakes which most of humans make is we make a fantastic, unrealistic, imaginary plan which we are never gonna do. Like the 31st night, all of us are fully drunk and say, okay guy, tomorrow I'm going to join the gym, and in the next 3 months I'm going to do this. Well, next day you will see the first week of Jan, the gyms are full. But then come Feb, these people have gone, disappeared, because you had made a plan which was unrealistic. So what I emphasize is where you need to have tiny habits. Think of one step at a time. Hello, namaste, assalamu alaikum, sat sri akal. Dr. Naeem Sadiq, neurologist, neuropsychiatrist, founder and director of Plexus Neuro and Stem Cell Research Center. Practicing for the last 35 plus years and seen more than 700,000 patients. Today I'm here to talk on neurology and wellness. So on this topic, can we have the first question, please?
In the modern day, what encompasses wellness?
Well, to answer this question, I would want you to go back to your childhood memories. I'm sure you all must have gone to a circus or at least seen some of these on the television or on your mobile phones. You have a clown on a unicycle, on a tightrope, juggling with 5 balls. Now imagine if he was on a unicycle juggling 5 balls, but not on a tightrope, but on a rope which is loose and shaky. Well, this is wellness. Now the 5 balls: your work, your relationships, your lifestyle, your hobbies, and most important, number 5, how you're gonna take a break from the 4 of the previously mentioned. Balancing these 5 balls on a unicycle is you, and the rope which is shaking is life, which is not constant, which you don't know how it's gonna move in the next few seconds. Talking about the 5 things. Number 1, your work. So when you're at work, whether it is a 9 to 5 work or 8 to 8 work or whatever time shift you have, you are giving your 100%, you're totally focused on your work and doing your best. You finish your work and you go home. You're either with your partner, with your friends, with your children, with your parents, whomever. That is your relationship. And while you're with your relationship, you're maintaining, you're managing, you're making it whatever you're doing with your relationships, you're giving it 100% there. You're completely focused on that. 3, your lifestyle. Lifestyle includes, number 1, your sleep. Number 2, your eating habits. Number 3, your physical workouts, etc. Now, how much time are you giving and how balanced are you in these? You're giving enough time for your sleep, you're giving enough and proper kind of diet, proper kind of food is going inside your system, and you have spared so much of time, so many minutes or so many hours of your schedule for your physical workout. And number 4, your hobbies. Now hobbies could be anything, they're totally individual. It could be reading, it could be listening to music, it could be watching your favorite show, it could be painting, it could be taking a walk, just gazing at the sky, looking at the stars. It could be anything. Now these are the 4 things which are important, and these 4 balls should be moving, but unless you have the 5th one, which is taking a break from all these 4, there should be a time which is known as your alone time, when you're with yourself and nobody else, and you can do what you want to do without any questions, without any inhibitions, without any intrusions or whatever. If these 5 things are balanced, then your trip across the shaky loose rope is going to be perfect and you're going to reach your destination. But remember, the focus should be there. One should not get mixed with the other. Then you're going to stumble and fall. This is the meaning of neurological wellness, where we balance all the 5 things in our life very, very efficiently, and we are perfect with them.
What's the most realistic and practical way of achieving good neurological health?
To achieve good neurological health, number one is we need to follow whatever I mentioned in my previous part, where we try to balance with these 5 things: work, lifestyle, relationships, hobbies, and our alone time. And B, there's something which is known as the happy hormones. We need to harvest them. We need to see to it we have a right amount of these hormones in our system. Now, what are these hormones? Number one, we have the serotonin, which is the happy hormone, the mood boosting hormone. How do we get this? By activities such as running, spending time in the sunlight, or meditating. Number two, we should have the right amount of endorphins in our system. The simplest way to get this is by physical exercise. Number three, we need to have the right amount of hormone which is known as oxytocin. It is a love hormone. How do we get this? By having social contact, spending time with your loved ones, or spending time with your pet, which I do a lot of time. And number four, to have the fourth hormone which is known as dopamine, which is described as the pathway to pleasure. Now this can be achieved by getting the sense of accomplishment, sense of achieving something, and rewarding yourself. How do we achieve these? I was talking about running, I was talking about meditating, I was talking about spending time in the sunlight, spending time with the beloved, all these things. Now the mistakes which most of humans make is we make a fantastic, unrealistic, imaginary plan which we are never gonna do. Like the 31st night, all of us are fully drunk and say, okay guys, tomorrow I'm going to join the gym, and in the next 3 months I'm going to do this. Next day you will see the first week of Jan, the gyms are full. But then come Feb, these people have gone, disappeared, because you had made a plan which was unrealistic. So what I emphasize is where you need to have tiny habits. Think of one step at a time. Do not think, yes, there's a long way to go, but one step. Like for instance, now you take for instance, you stay on the 9th floor. Do not press 0, press 1. Come down by the lift, the 8 floors, the last one you can walk down. Or when you're climbing up, don't press 9, press 8. Get down on the 8th floor, climb 1 flight of stairs. Let this be the beginning. As you go on, you could probably keep adding 1 by 1. Or when you're going for your workplace, do not get down from the cab just opposite your office. Get on maybe 100 meters away. One small step. If it's taken consistently over a period of time, generally we say 21 days, it becomes a habit. Then you just cannot ignore that 1 flight of stairs. Or running. Do not think of doing a marathon. Start thinking of running maybe 100 meters or maybe 500 meters consistently. Once you achieve this, then maybe you can increase on that. Social contact. I want to spend 1 hour, let's go and spend with my friend or with my brother or with my, it's not going to happen. 5 minutes. Maybe just one greeting every day. Evening before you go to bed, just saying good night, I love you. Or morning when you wake up, say good morning, I love you. That could be a very small thing. If you can incorporate this in your life, you have started increasing, or you have started production of these hormones which are only gonna increase. So these tiny habits which will boost your happy hormones, which will lead on to a very balanced neurologically balanced life.
What's the deal with stress, and why is it that almost all the illnesses and conversations around poor health are attributed to stress?
Well, stress is a real thing. Whether it's living or non-living can get stressed. Your phone, you're using it for a long time. After some time you feel it's hot. You just can't hold it. You have to keep it. Your hairdryer gets heated up. Your car engine gets heated up. It's all stress. That is for the non-living things. Living things, yes. It is simply defined as a state of physical or mental tension. Stress can result from any event or thought that leads to you being uncomfortable, being frustrated, being angry, or being nervous. All of us undergo stress. Every single day, every single hour, every single minute, every single second, stress is part of our life. I'll give you a simple example. You wake up in the morning, it's already 10 minutes late. I had pressed the snooze button, I did not wake up again. You rush to the bathroom, open the tap, there's no water. There's stress. Get up angrily, somehow you manage. You come, press the lift button. Somebody has stopped the lift on the 5th floor. You have to wait for 10 minutes for the lift to come up. You go down, you want to take your car out. Someone has parked his bike behind your car. Stress builds up. You decide to take a cab. You call the cab. The cab driver cancels your journey. Stress builds up. You reach the office, you're already full. You had to do some last minute work and then be ready for the presentation. You can see, you can smell smoke, the flames from your boss's chamber. You enter there, it's gone. And then the boss gives you another deadline and says, in another half an hour, I want this done. There's a client meeting at 10:30. Just imagine what's happening to your head. This is stress. It's building up. It keeps building up. I've just given you one example. You all, if you look at your lives day in and day out, including night, stress keeps building up, building up, building up. Now what's going to happen? It just starts overflowing and that results in disaster. So what has to be done and what generally people are supposed to do and some sensible people do is have small taps. Stress builds up, open one tap, some of the pressure comes down. There's one vent from where some of the pressure goes off. One more tap, some of the pressure goes. So by the time you end your day, the bucket which was overflowing now has become either empty or half or quarter or whatever. Now what are these taps and how do we do? It could be anything. Like for instance, if you are stuck in a situation which is stressing you, one simple step would be walk out of that situation and look at it. What are the possible outcomes? What are the possible ways by which I can resolve this? There are 4 options. Look at the pros and cons of each option and then choose the best one. Start implementing that. You are unable to figure out how to solve it. Speak to a confidant, speak to your relative, your friend, your associate, your colleague, or even your boss, whoever is there. Try to find a solution and get out of it. So there could be a solution for the stress which is bothering you, for the issue which is bothering you. But this is not true for all conditions. This is not true all the time. There could be certain problems, certain issues for which there is no solution. Then what do we do? 2 options. Option 1, which is very easy and which is unhealthy and which is in our reach. Open a beer bottle, make a drink, order a pizza, just lie down there and think, let me go to sleep. That leads on to all kinds of illnesses. The second option would be reach home, throw your shoes, wear your running shoes, go for a run. Go to the bathroom, open the shower, just stand under the shower for about 5 minutes. Come to your bedroom, light some aroma candles, put on some nice music, just lie down there and meditate for a few minutes. Or just go out, sit on the grass, sit on your lawn, look at the sky, look at the stars, look at the moon. Or take your pet, just hug your dog, spend some time. Or if you have a partner, if you have a close friend, if you have somebody, spend time with them, talk to them. Now these are different ways by which you're opening the taps. For the stress for which you didn't have a solution, by spending time on these activities, you are letting that down, which will lead to a healthy outcome. If you had gone for option A, something which is within your reach and which is very unhealthy, that mounts to The stress will not go. In fact, you will be adding on more stress, obesity, hypertension, migraines, anxiety, stroke, musculoskeletal problems, name the disease. Every department in the hospital, you will have one appointment, one consultation fixed.
So according to you, doctor, if the brain had a favorite exercise, what would it be?
Sleep. That would be the brain's most favorite exercise. Don't believe it? It is a fact. But the caveat here is sleep in the right way, at the right time, for the right duration is very, very essential. If you take sleep, there are a lot of cycles. There's a lot of things which are there in sleep. But here, just to make you understand, one sleep cycle is of 90 minutes. It consists of 3 parts. One is a light sleep, second is the deep sleep, and third is a REM sleep, which is a dream sleep. Now, an individual is supposed to complete this cycle, and most of the individuals have about 4 to 5 of these cycles in a night. Now, how much sleep is good for each one is variable. It could vary anywhere between 6 to 8 hours, and for some 10 hours. But then when you wake up in the morning, you should feel fresh. That means you have completed the cycle and you have come out of it. If you wake up in the morning remembering all the dreams, that means you woke up in the middle of the sleep. Or sometimes when you wake up and you're fumbling, where is my watch, where is my phone, where are my feet and where are my slippers, that means you got up in the midst of the deep sleep. Now, why is sleep important? All the phones we recharge, the machines, the cars, every single instrument, we need to keep it on sleep mode, keep it on idle mode, give it rest. Number one. During sleep, maximum neuronal rewiring happens. Number two, maximum number of thought consolidation happens during sleep. I'm sure you must have heard the common phrase, sleep over it. Your mind is in a clutter. You don't know which way to go, what decision to make. You just say, okay, fine, let me all put it here. Go to sleep. You wake up in the morning. You are seeing a way out of the confusion with which you slept. That's because the thoughts all got consolidated and now you know which way to go. 3, so much of hormonal activity happens during sleep. So much of neurotransmitter activity happens during sleep. Neurotransmitters such as GABA, adenosine, acetylcholine, serotonin, melatonin, everything is getting restored at that point of time, so that when you wake up in the morning, everything looks fine, clear, and you can see way, you can think properly, you can plan. In fact, the students, when they come to me, they have issues with memory, they have issues. I tell them the same thing. A day before the exam, have a good 8 hours sleep. That's what is needed to consolidate your memory, consolidate whatever you have studied. So sleep is the most important exercise which the brain needs. Yes, along with it, there are a lot of other things which you all know about, which it's very difficult to do. People don't like doing them. Puzzles, spellathons, your Sudoku, your Jenga, your whatever, a lot of these things are there, which will improve the brain activity. But yes, only if the brain is rested.
You've been practicing for over 35 years now, doctor. Have you seen a recent trend in your practice?
35 years is a very long time, and I've seen a complete paradigm shift in the kind of patients which I've been seeing when I go back to the 80s and now when we are in 2024. Starting from childhood, let's start off with childhood. Now, disorders such as, take for instance, autism. Now, this was something which was there, but not so common. It's a disorder. Yeah, we have heard about it, and here and there we used to get a few cases. But then with the increase of screens which are available, all over, you can see here, I'm surrounded by screens. And so imagine a child, the mobile phone, an iPad, a computer, television, so many screens. And with the parents, both of them working, husband has a day shift, wife has a night shift, they don't see each other, the child needs some company, so it is the screen which gives him the company. The addiction to it has led on to, yes, a definite increase in the population of children who are suffering from all kinds of disorders, number one. Number two, the syndrome of stress, syndrome of anxiety and depression. This was something which was not heard of at all. Now I get children who are in that middle school, grade 5, grade 6. What's happening? Why are you getting headache? I have depression, I have stress, I have anxiety. It's a common thing, they're aware of it. Maybe they keep hearing it from the parents or, watch on the television or on the, their phones, whatever. But yes, the syndrome which even adults did not have. Even in adults, it was very difficult for a patient to know. I used to get patients, I used to ask them, so what are you suffering from? I have these problems. So what do you think it is? My doctor told me I was suffering from depression. It was something strange. The doctor had to tell the person that his mood was depressed. So that was the stage. So now we find in children these disorders. Then you go to the teenagers, the adolescents, drug abuse, alcohol consumption, for 13, 14-year-old boys, if you go on the social media, you can see how they share their images, which kind of whiskey they had, what kind of beer they had, how soon did they finish one bottle of beer. It is, these are things which are so common. Teenage pregnancies, which has been there, again, it was something hidden, but now it's out in open. And then coming on to young adults. Because of the lifestyle, sitting on the computer, sitting on the system for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, neck pain, back pain, spondylitis, disc prolapse, tears of the disc, nerve compression. These were things which I would see, in people above 60 years. Now, even now, when I tell the patients the same thing. When I look at the MRI and say, 30 years back, when I would look at this MRI, I would straight away say, okay, this person must be 60, 65 years. But then now, 25-year-old has these problems. The disc is gone, they have shooting pain, back is gone because of the bad lifestyle. Plus, lack of any kind of physical activity, be it children, be it adolescents, or be it adults. Gone are the days when, people used to go out and play football, people used to go for martial arts, people, go and play any kind of games in the stadium or in any of those things. Now, the favorite game is done on the mobile. So this change in lifestyle has again brought into many types of disorders of the brain and of the mind. Children have now become, their friends are imaginary friends on the phone. Very rarely do we find children getting together and having a game outside in the park or going to an amusement or whatever. So this again has brought in lot of issues with the brain, which leads to a lot of psychiatric syndromes and neurological disorders. And then the traumatic brain injuries, such as the brachial plexus injury, the spinal cord injury. Then we have strokes. All these were not so well heard of. Strokes especially was something which was known after 45, after 50, but we get strokes now in the age of 20, 25, 30. Accidents and traumatic injuries such as spinal cord and brachial plexus injury, again because of the fast lifestyle, so many of vehicles, overcrowding, and these disorders have become common. Then Parkinson's disease. This was a syndrome which was again known to happen only after the age of 50, but I see a lot of patients now coming to me in the age of 25, 30 with this disorder. So whatever we used to think 30 years back, 25 years back, 35 years back, these are the disorders which are not known or rare or happen only in the late adulthood. Now we see a complete reversal. You see most of things in children, you see the diseases of the old age now in youngsters. That has been the shift which has happened in the last 35 years.
So why do you think it is so difficult to stick to a good lifestyle?
So generally what happens here is we have a lifestyle which we are not happy with. We want to change it. We make an attempt to change and try it for some time till we achieve whatever goal. I don't know if I'm coming across to you. I'll give you a small example. Like for instance, I'm weighing 95 kgs. So my goal is to become 80. I go to a dietitian, I go to a gym, I make a specific diet. Whether it's a keto diet, a paleo diet, a X diet, Y diet, there are innumerable types of diets available on the internet. I make the diet to reach my desired weight, whatever it is. Struggling, looking at that guy eating pizza, looking at that, oh my god, red velvet cake, oh my god, noodles, okay, that samosa, the chaat, but no. I have to reach that 85 kgs. You know, that 85 is there in my mind. So I'm trying, struggling, although here and there, trying to sneak a few things, but then somehow managing. But the moment you reach 85, you break loose. You've achieved it. It was a short-term goal. You were doing everything to achieve just that bit. Not to become healthy, not to live healthy. Gym. You go there every day morning, it's cold, take off your blanket, you know, wear your hoodie, whatever, you go running to the gym, start working out. 1 month, very happy, I lost 3.5 kgs. Next month, I lost 6 kgs. Third month, I lost 9 kgs. Fourth month, 12, and then fifth month, 15. Wow, got it, now I need a break. Guy, let's go to Goa, let's party. 3 nights, okay, drink, binge, dance, eat, whatever, but don't check your weight again. Okay, you'll not have the courage to check the weight. You'll check that again maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months later. Again, it was to achieve that particular motive, not to change your lifestyle. In our brain, there are certain instincts which we call as basic instincts. There are certain drives: food, sleep, sex, etc. These instincts are there in all living beings, be it humans or be it animals. Now, these instincts are controlled by the cortex only in humans. Humans are the only living beings which God has given this control, or they have empowered them to have what we call technically as the cortical inhibition. This is, you know, it's like my car can run at 200 kilometer speed, you know, but my foot is not always on the gas pedal. The other foot is there on the brake. Because I need to exercise that brake and slow down wherever I need to, stop wherever I need to. This is the cortex, you know, the upper part of the brain, which inhibits the uncontrolled, unlimited desires which the brainstem has. To exercise this control is not very easy unless you have the long-term goal in sight. What are you going to achieve? If you're going to lose weight, if you want to become thin, then you will follow the diet till you become thin. If you want to get that particular number on your weighing scale or whatever, all these are short-term goals. So people are not able to stick to it because they are not aware, or they are not fully sure as to what are they looking at. Plus, the unhealthy things which are easily accessible, whereas the healthy things which are difficult to get. Like for instance, you go to any restaurant, you want to have a bowl of just fresh salad, you'll have to search. Very difficult to find. You want pizzas, easily, pasta, easily found, name it, you know, desserts, easily found. But the healthy options are not so easily available. Now, talking a little more about the basic desires and the cortical inhibition, let me give you one very relatable example. I believe it's winter, temperatures are between 14 to 17 in the morning, the time be, you know, around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Night you decide, you know, I'll have to wake up in the morning and, you know, just go to the gym or run on the treadmill for 40 minutes. You set the alarm at 5 a.m. and the alarm does its job. There you hear the music. The cortex is saying, hey guy, you wanted to go to the gym. It's 5 o'clock, your alarm has, there on. You need to just get up, throw the blanket and go. But then the brainstem says, no, you know, it's so cold, you know, it's so cozy, the blanket, and it's cold outside. Let me just sleep for just a few more minutes. The 8 minutes which, you know, Apple has set. You press the snooze button and you think you'll just sleep for 8 minutes and then get up, after the next alarm. But then it goes on and suddenly you wake up, it's been 2 hours. I don't know how I slept. Well, because your cortical inhibition was not strong enough to suppress the desire which the brainstem was giving you to sleep. Another example, you're hungry, you want to eat. You've ordered for food and you're not getting food, and you see, a plate of, pizza there right in front of you. The brainstem says, there is food and yummy food, let's just go grab it and eat it. But then the cortex says, no, you're following a regime, you're on a strict diet, you cannot have the pizza, it is not going to help you. But then no, you look here and there, there's nobody there. The brainstem takes over and then you tend to have it. So the reason is the cortical inhibition is not strong enough, the brake is not strong enough to decelerate. That is the reason why we give in, and it is so difficult to follow a healthy pattern. Well, let me try to explain this with yet another example. You're standing on top of a building. There is a building on the other side of the road, which might be, say, 100 meters, 80 meters, whatever. And there's fire in that building. Now somebody comes to you and tells you, hey guy, look, I'm going to give you $2,000. There's a ladder kept across the two buildings, which is on the 15th story. You will have to cross over, and there's a child there. I want you to rescue the child and come. This guy will just look at the building. It is so far away, connected by just one flimsy ladder. He looks down 15 floors. 1 foot he misses and he's going to be a dead body. So he says, I don't want your 2,000 or your 20,000. I'm happy with my life. The next scenario, you're standing on the same building. You see fire on the opposite side in the next building, and there's a ladder there, and there's a child on the other side screaming. But this time, this child is your own. What will your reaction be? Will you think of $2,000? Will you think of the ladder? Will you think of 15th story? You will forget everything. You will just run across the ladder, go rescue the child, because that child was your own. So now, what made this person take the risk, follow the difficult path and rescue the child? On the other hand, did not do the same in the first instance. The reason is he was aware of what's going to happen, and he was going to benefit or lose in the second scenario. To follow a good lifestyle, what we need to do is, number one, should be aware of the consequences which are going to happen to you, not to someone else. If I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to have the benefits of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So being aware is the most important thing. Being not aware, being just knowing, realizing, yes, I may land in this state if I do not follow this. And two, the most important thing is to make it a lifestyle, to make it part of your life, like waking up in the morning and doing meditation for 5 minutes should be part of your routine, as important as brushing your teeth. To exercise for 20 minutes or 30 minutes every day in the morning should be part of your routine, as wearing your clothes is important to you. To spend time with your beloved, spend time with your pets, talk to your friends, do something very good in social circumstances should be part of your life, as it is important to have your dinner or to have a drink or to have your coffee or to have your tea. Like, there are certain things which we do not miss because we put them in our routine. If you want something, if you want to follow a good lifestyle, then it can be followed only and only and only if it becomes part of your system. It is very difficult. But yes, like I was talking in one of my earlier questions, the tiny habits, the atomic habits. Start with a small thing. Just start one bit. Say, I'm not going to have dessert every day, or I'm not going to have a beer every day, or I'm going to reduce one cigarette from my daily consumptions, or I'm going to wake up 15 minutes earlier than my usual. Let that go on. If this goes on, like the reports say, if you continue doing this for 21 days, that becomes a habit. Now, once you achieve this, you give a pat, say, yes, guy, you did a good job. Then let's go to the next level. Instead of 15 minutes, make it 20 minutes. Instead of reducing one cigarette, reduce 2 cigarettes. That is how a lifestyle is built. It cannot happen overnight. From eating all junk food, suddenly going to healthy food, from just being on a couch all the time, suddenly jumping and exercising it's going to happen for 2 days, 3 days, maximum 1 week. And then you're going back to where you were. So to have a good lifestyle, 1, you should be aware of the consequences, and 2, it should become part of you, part of your routine. I'm not running. Why? I'm supposed to be doing that. I'm not eating good food. Why? I'm supposed to be doing that. So routine. Unless it comes in your program, unless it comes in your system, you cannot have a good lifestyle. So we need to have a balanced lifestyle where we are balancing our work, our relationships, our hobbies, alone time. Now, to illustrate this, I would like to talk about my theory. Well, this is the theory of concentric circles, right? This is you. This is your work. These are your relationships. This is your lifestyle. These are your hobbies. This is your alone time. Now, what does this remind you of? We've studied in our school earlier the solar system. So we have the sun, we have the different planets, Mars, Mercury, Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, blah, 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 etc. And each one is going in their own orbit, revolving around the sun. So imagine now, if Mars comes in the orbit of Mercury, or Earth goes in the orbit of Jupiter, Pluto comes where Saturn is going, that would lead on to an apocalypse, chaos. That would probably be the end of this universe. So to maintain harmony in the universe, each planet has its own orbit, and they are maintaining that particular distance from the sun, and nothing is interfering in the other orbit. So that is how you, your work, your lifestyle, your relationship, your hobbies, your alone time, every single thing should be given its own importance, and only that much of importance. Things should not get muddled up. I'm at work and I'm chatting. During my sleep time, I'm busy trying to do some work. During my exercise time, I'm catching up on some meeting which I had not done. Any of these things, if they get mixed up, that creates turmoil in the brain, and that leads to confusion and chaos. So we need to respect the universe which is there in our head.
So, doctor, is the common occurrence of forgetting where you put your keys a sign of a stressed brain or just a busy life?
It's stress. It's 100% stress. It has nothing to do with busy life. There are so many things over here. I am busy, but I know where I keep my phone, I know where the iPad is, I know where the pen is, I know where the stapler is, I know where I am organized. I know where I'm keeping everything. So when I want something, I just have to reach, and there I have whatever I want. That is because I'm organized. On the contrary, if my mind is in a mess, if it is in a chaos, I don't know, I've kept here, the paper is here, the pen is somewhere here, everything is scattered all over. No, I want a pen, I'm searching, I'm looking all over. You will never find it. That's because your mind is stressed. It is in a state of chaos. Like the funny thing which I keep seeing, where the person keeps searching for his phone with the flashlight on. He's searching, he does not, his mind is completely preoccupied with so many. He does not know, okay, the phone is in his hand and he's shining the flashlight from his very phone and searching for the phone, which, he'll not find anywhere else because it's in his hand. Or, where the specs is on your nose and you're searching everywhere, where's my specs gone? Right, so this is definitely a sign of stress. But what kind of stress? Where your mind is disorganized, where there's a clutter there. So you need to open some of those tabs, let it out, and try to organize things in your head. Then things around you will be organized and you will never forget your keys. Or you can go for a biometric.
So this is the last question we have for today. What life-changing advice would you give to someone who is struggling with wellness in their life?
Well, the answer to this would be what I spoke in my TED Talk some time back. Do what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, what you're paid for, and from which you never want to retire. These are 5 things which, if you follow, you will find happiness and wellness of your brain and your mind. Well, guys, here concluding today's podcast from the channel Dr. Brainstem, Dr. Naeem Sadiq signing off. But before I sign off, I want to give you, or I want to help you rather, take that first step towards neurological wellness. Now, like I mentioned, I don't want to give you a huge step, just one little step. I want you to do 5 push-ups, 5 lunges, 5 crunches, 5 squats, and 5 jumping jacks as soon as you jump out of bed every single morning, Monday to Sunday. Believe me, this will not take more than 8 to 10 minutes, but there will be a rush of hormones in you, and there, you're on to take on to the world, to take on to any challenge. All your taps are open, the stress comes down. If you have any questions, please post them. If you want me to cover certain topics pertaining to the brain, to neurology, to mental health, anything to do with the brain and mind, please post your questions, share your questions. I should be more than glad to answer them. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.